The things that happen just before we go live. Hello, you are very, very, very welcome to another edition of our foremost weekly This Is Mid Live.
Yes.
We don't always manage to do it weekly, but we do our best. We do our best. Whether you are joining us live, and I can see a couple of you just popping in now and the comments starting, or whether you are watching back, you're always very, very welcome. Leave your comments, join in, give us your opinions on the things that we're talking about. We always love to hear from you. We started doing This Is Mid Live, or I started doing This Is Mid Live way back when the shop was shut and there was lockdown and people couldn't come in, and it's just our way of reaching out and connecting with everybody wherever you are in the world, and it's something that we're going to keep up and carry on because it's just been a brilliant way to,
and let us
to
know
get to know
where
everybody.
you are.
Do tell us where you are.
It's as cold as it is here.
Rainy Bay Area of
cold here in
California.
Dublin.
Minneapolis. I can't believe it's raining in California.
I
That's
know,
crazy.
there's terrible
That's crazy. I
storms.
thought that wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
So, well, I hope you're wrapped up. You have your project and you're ready to just chill out and listen to some yarny chat for the next hour. It's very directed yarny chat though, because we have a wonderful selection of questions from you all on the dart. Anna's on the dart. You have to distract yourself from being on the dart. So that works.
Should explain the DART is the rapid transit here in Dublin.
Yes, public
train.
transport. So obviously there's a commute happening there. And I was chatting to somebody last week in the shop, and they were saying they always watch on a Friday morning. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but you watch on a Friday morning just to cheer up the Friday morning commute. So hello, you know who you are, and hello.
That's important.
Sunny in Oregon, a very great day in Virginia. Who needs the weather forecast? And actually, because all of the American weather just comes our way in one way, shape or form, just usually with more rain. So you're kind of predicting the future for us now. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will get into it. What we do here, questions. We're going slightly more high tech this week. I must dust this off.
No bits of paper for me to look at.
No bits of paper. We're a little nervous about it, but look at this color-coded. Whoa. Hang on. Look at this color-coded bit of amazingness that has been prepped by the fantastic team here. Okay. So we're trying this with cards and all sorts, and I've got my main points. Oh God, please bear with us this week. Our main points. Number one, very, very, very important to be said at the very top for all of you local people or anybody who's planning on visiting Dublin in the next couple of weeks. Our refit, 100% now. This is not getting changed again. The refit is happening from Monday the 30th of January. So we are likely to be closed for 2 weeks at least, and hopefully no longer than that, from the 30th of January. So that's the set in stone date. Everything is in place. There's meetings happening next week. It's all gonna be so fun.
We just have to get ready.
It's
Start
gonna be
packing.
great. So all of this will look extremely different. We will do one more live before.
We'll still look the same though.
Look even better with a backdrop.
Yes.
So we will do one more live next week, and then there'll probably be a little bit of a gap, obviously, until then we come back to show you how the shop looks. So basically everything is getting pulled out. The whole unit is getting repainted, new flooring, lots of shiny new units and really colourful stuff. And you will have noticed our new logo, and so all of this is just freshening up. 2023 is TIK 2.0. This is the 2.0. Okay, so that is, you need to change your flight. So Knit With Me UK, you were messaging, no, you can 100% come over and see us next week, because we will be closing the Saturday beforehand. Anyway, those dates will be added to the website very shortly, and all the information. So we're excited. I hope you're excited. And now we just need a reason to come. We just gave you one. Come see us.
Come see.
So I know if you're watching back, you can't see the comments, so I shall try and read them a little slower, actually, just so that is there for you.
Somebody has just asked, will we be selling online?
So
we're closed?
We are going to take the opportunity to do a really full and comprehensive stock take while we're closed.
Yeah.
And
count every single solitary thing.
Every button. So that'll take a couple of days. So the website will be offline for a few days. Then we'll bring the website back up, but we won't have packing and fulfillment facilities in that time.
Yeah.
So you could order, but it will be when we get back in here and set up our packing area again that your order will then dispatch. So it'll be a little bit like, when we close for Christmas. you can order, but your package doesn't ship until we get back, essentially. So that is the plan, but we will try and get back ASAP for you. Better get to questions for now. Remember the shed in Blackrock? Yes, Anthony too. Yeah. So it's very different. It's 16 years later, so it was time for a bit of jazz. And actually, we've been in this unit since 2011. Is that right? Wow, it is. No, 2011. So
I was a customer then. I don't know.
12 years here. It was time for a facelift. Okay. Right. What we forgot to do last week was to show you a bit of Joy's scarf. Will we do this? So we've put a new segment together, little short videos called Show Me the Yarn, where we can do quick ideas for you on projects. But just because this is just so amazing, it deserves another little bit of time in the spotlight. On you go.
Okay. So it's Medusa scarf by lovely Julie Knits in Paris. She did do it goes back to pre-COVID, just before COVID. She had a Medusa shawl, crescent shaped, which definitely was not for a beginner. But this is like a straight scarf, but you could hardly say just a straight scarf because it is rather fabulous. Now I did it using, if you probably saw the other Instagrams, I used Fade Street and Abbey, which is my favourite, but the pattern is written for 2 4-plies, not any fluff. You could use Clarendon, you could use Fade. Oh, here we go.
So that's your original?
This is the original. So it's Big Bird. I love Big Bird and Amethyst together. So that's what I did. And let me see.
So this is actually shimmer.
This is Clarendon. Now Clarendon sock. So Big Bird again, but this is shimmer. So it would be more solid, I suppose. It wouldn't be quite as drapey as this because the Abbey is just so, I don't know, light, so fine and light and fluffy. So that's one option. And then this one is Oasis and Petrol, which I think would really be beautiful. Gorgeous. And we have more. And we have Forest, which is one of Jenny's lovely new colours, which is a lovely, really, I don't know, it's a depth of green. We were putting that with Moonbeam, which is sort of a greyish, and then it has these lovely colour swaps here. That would be lovely as well.
Last one to give you shimmer back.
And last one, we thought we'd use shimmer again, but this time with another one of the new colours, which is Wild Grove and Shimmer, which would be really lovely. And it's how much of the skein I used. For this one, I used one of each, and I just got to the end of it. The yardage in the pattern would suggest that you need 2 of each, I'm afraid. But you could decide to just stop, just keep going until you reach the end of your yarn, because you can see it is quite big. I got the whole pattern to what she says, the repeats, and then at the end you pick up and you make, you see the kind of I-cord edging, so you need to leave enough for that. But you could just, if you decided you only wanted to do one of each, you could definitely stop it, because it's just, I've been wearing it all week, and what I do is, it's so cold here at the moment, I wrap it around and I wrap it around, and I do that, and I never took it off. When I got home last night, I ate my dinner, I did, and I just kept it on like that, and it's just amazing.
It's fab, it's fab. But I can see how if you just had one skein each of Clarendon, like, yeah, you could just, get where you need to go. Yeah, yes. Now, and before we get into the rest of your questions, brioche by Nemesis, we will make it. This is Dad All says brioche by Nemesis. We are going to make sure that it is no longer your nemesis this year. I'm going to do some tutorial videos for that project as well, in the middle of everything else. So it might be the spring before you get it, but bear with us. Okay, then I just wanted to show you guys, we got the Flox cable needle stitch holder dropped stitch marker, drop stitch fixer, seam baster. This dinky little tool in lots of different wee colours. I'm just going to show you that one. You might have seen them, you might have known what they're all about, in which case I'm just going, there, we have them. But I will show you one use for them later on for one of the questions we have here as well. So throw that aside and we will dig in. Sandy says, I am obsessed with the coral cardigan Joy wore last week. Most of us are too, and we have a question about it as well. So without further ado, let us do the blue coded ones, which are techniques. So this is a question from Harry Wilfred. Hello, if you're out there. You were saying Happy New Year to you guys over there, and very Happy New Year to you. I have a question. I want to sew some ribbon around the back of a neckline of a sideways knit cardigan, and you're wondering, would we recommend machine sewing or hand sewing, or have we done this before? Now, I haven't personally, you haven't personally,
No.
but I can understand how you might not have the structure there and you need something. So you do have some options. I'm just thinking about this now. You could do some sort of a crochet reinforcement along the kind of rib edge at the back. That could work. We talked before about doing like a little slip stitch in crochet.
Just to kind of hold it.
Yeah, just to snug it up a bit. But you were talking specifically about ribbon, and we'd think you'd have to hand sew that to try and match your tension, really. You know,
I think you'd have to.
Yeah.
You don't want to make it too tight, and I think machine sewing might.
There's a risk you'd kind of be going over and back and nearly fraying your fabric and stuff if you don't get it right. So let's go with hand sew would be our recommendation for that. So you hope that we can help, because it's something that you're just not wearing. So definitely, I mean, it's a great solution. But does it happen to others? Definitely. And like, I've had necklines that I fixed, but I have used like crochet reinforcement or even
an I-cord sometimes.
Oh yeah. A little bit of an I-cord edging can help as well, but you'd want to practice and swatch and play with the tension to see how that lines up with your sideways neckline. And without seeing the exact pattern, you know, it's hard to recommend one method over another. But you have options, definitely, and you will get to wear your pattern for sure. But you'll wear your project. So thanks a million for that question. Can I drag it to done? Hang on, we might be able to drag. No, I can mark it as done.
Loves her technique.
To
technical.
Done. Official first done thing. Okay. Is there such a thing as a knitted cord that doesn't end up like a corkscrew? I-cord that doesn't end up like a corkscrew? I don't think really, because it's going to be inherently biased. Because you're constantly kind of coming around. Unless you broke it up with a purl stitch or something to try and... Experiment with throwing a wee purl. If it's like a 4-stitch cord, you could experiment with throwing a wee purl stitch in. It'd be a natural breaker. It might sit straighter, or you might just get a little twisty pearly cord going around. Joy, could I ask, was it the size 2 or 3 you did for the 3 Seasons cardigan?
Size 3, as far as I can remember.
I remember 3. Yeah.
It is on my Ravelry. I'm World Joy on Ravelry. So
all the
size
pattern
3,
details.
I'm nearly sure.
Carolyn Patricia has done it, I think, before with the ribbon and the sewing, and she says you use cotton ribbon and it sits better. So just in case our original questioner isn't on and you're watching back, the community has voted for cotton ribbon. Okay, now this is just going to do this on me. Fold over next. I'm going to hang on to you and Tiernan, if that's okay, because that's a bit more of a demo for later on. Now, we have 2 questions from Lorianne Bradford and Dibel Gardinier. I've messed that up and I apologise in advance. But it was how to substitute yarn in a pattern to use up some stash. Now, and you said, I love buying yarn, but we all love buying yarn, of course. You're in luck today, and I hope you tuned into our tip of the day, or our things I wish I knew for this week. It's one that we published before, and we're putting it out there again because it is something we get asked about all the time. But we have a whole mini tutorial today if you want to go onto our grid, and it talks about substituting yarn by length, not by weight, of course.
Very important.
Yes, so that's one thing. But another thing is obviously to make sure that it's broadly the same tension on the labels, broadly, because you can play with your needle sizes to make it work. And similar fibre content would be the other thing. Yeah,
because we often get people who say they want to make a wool sweater in cotton, or the other way around, and it's it's not that it doesn't work, but it's completely different. You know, the finish will be completely different.
Yeah, you have to look at how the fabric sits. Is the pattern intended to be drapey? Is it intended to be structured? And making sure that you're using a yarn that would give that similar effect, for sure. Okay. Now, this is from Crooks4723. How are you doing? And your question was how to use up mini skeins, because I think an awful lot of people out there have gotten advents and little bits and pieces that have caught your eye. So we were going to show you a pattern that is used in a little kit here, but would work with leftovers, mini skeins, all sorts. It is in the pack like this. the Soul Warmer kit, but Joy will show you the project itself.
So this is it, the Soul Warmer. And obviously we used kind of a gradient effect of greys, and we had them in green and pink and various different colours. But I mean, it would work just as well with leftovers or with mini skeins. So this took 6 mini skeins, just to show you. But I mean, if you do a search on Ravelry, there's lots of different patterns that are specially made for mini skeins. True Colours by Melanie Berg. True Colours. It's another one that I made one, and I used pretty much loads and loads of my Fade Street leftovers. But again, it would work with mini skeins. But there's loads of different kind of patterns out there.
There are for sure. And if you want to drop us another little quick message, I know you've sent your question in already, but we have our mini sample using up odds and ends of scraps. We have a whole Ravelry bundle of pattern suggestions for that, and we can send you that link, and you can have a browse through and see if that works for you. Okay, so Lisa Hattoon, 1663, how are you? Hi, my namesake. You were wondering about understanding gauge and how to get the correct gauge. So age-old challenge for knitters everywhere, crocheters everywhere. Right, and because this is quite a big topic,
Huge.
you know, we have created the TIK Guide to Gauge. Which you will get if you sign up to the newsletter, or if you've already subscribed and you missed it, it was sent out 2 weeks ago to all newsletter subscribers. So when you go through to that, there's a video explaining about how to swatch properly, how to measure your swatch properly, how to adjust your needle size. Like, there's a flow chart that basically says, okay, look at your swatch, count it, what have you got, is it this or is it that, follow this line, you know, take you to it to explain whether you need to go up or down needle sizes. That you know, because it's something that people forget all the time, or you kind of go, oh God, is it up or down, or is it this or that?
I know. So there's always that thing, do I go up a needle size when it's too many stitches? Do I go down a needle?
Is it too?
You have it does kind of wreck the head.
It's too mind melty, and even I say for experienced knitters, everything still it keeps to go. No, and then you figure it out, and it's grand.
Yeah.
But this guide to gauge, the flow chart, the videos, everything like that will just mean you won't have to guess anymore, and you can download that flow chart, keep it on your desktop, keep it on your phone, so wherever you are and you're working on your swatches, you'll be able to make that call and get things that fit. Okay, but swatch, that's the answer. And also washing your swatch before you measure it is quite important too. So I have a comment on my shawl, which is not my shawl, made by this darling lovely person here.
Striped as Jan
by
West.
The man himself.
That's it.
The man himself. We have these colours in stock nearly every time when we talk about this. The colours aren't here, but they are, and in fact I pulled them.
It's the most amazing. That's the only one I ever made from actual skeins of yarn, because that was a sample for the shop. I made 4 more from my leftovers, and I don't have one. I gave them all away, so I still have one in me. It's a great one for, you're talking about leftovers, and I don't know about mini skeins, but it is a great one for leftovers.
So I'll just put this down. Thank you.
I'll hold back for you.
So very obviously you can see that is that colour. This is Abbey Lace in ochre for these gorgeous big holy sections like that. It's called Striped S-Jan, E-S-J-A-N. And then the stripes in here are a mix of Fade Street in Spiced Plum and Bonfire mixed together, and then you get this wonderful effect.
It's a lovely one too for carrying around. Remember we went to Barcelona. Anyway, I was knitting the striped section on the plane or anywhere when we were at dinner. Now you do have to pay attention to the lace, but it's you know, it's doable.
It's there. It's
beautiful.
It's good. Okay, this one's for you. Now,
Striped as Jan. A couple of people still asking.
Yes, Jan. Yeah. So, if we don't have the Joy's beautiful coral version of this cardigan, it's her card. You know,
I wore something different today.
Yes, I believe we do have the colours as a kit, because we were asked about it so often. If you want to pop it into the website, Striped S Jan, it should come up. Yeah, they should be there.
Yep.
If some of these colours were just delivered today, so if it's not showing us on stock, it's because we haven't entered the stock yet, but I will fix that. Okay, so this is the beautiful original version of the cardigan that you made.
Yep.
And the cardigan which is called
3 Seasons cardigan.
And but the question that we had from Aussie Yarny, how are you doing, is wondering if you can turn that into a sweater. So our answer is, and I wrote this down, it's theoretically possible, but not straightforward. But if you wanted to try it,
yeah,
if you wanted.
The thing about the cardigan, or any kind of cardigan, like that, usually, and it's done top down, usually these bits won't be as wide together when you put them together as the back. So you're going to have to do something,
some sort of central cable,
in
between, because see the way there's those bands there, so to take up the button band territory, you're gonna have to make up a cable or work something in to fill that gap.
I suppose you could, it's slightly different at the back than it is at the front. You could, it's doable. Anything is doable. But if you were going for the V-neck, you'd have to like come down here, then come down here, and then just make sure that the amount of stitches you have from here down matches the back. Otherwise your front is going to be either too big or too small. So yes, doable, but you could probably find a sweater pattern without having to do that. I think.
Yeah, there might be something else that's similar in style out there.
Yeah.
And if you can spend a bit of time, see if it's out there, and then it'd save you a bit of hassle, but possibly a bit of hard to take along the way. We're not saying, it depends on your level of experience, which we don't know, probably just your username, unfortunately. But so not straightforward, but possible. Now, so we have a little question from Kathy McGeaney, who is saying, hello again, if it's not too late to include a query, could I get an opinion on knitting machines and if they're worth the money? Is it possible to do a variety of stitches on them, or is it restricted to stockinette? So, throwing it out to our audience here this evening, have you got a knitting machine? Have you played with it? Have you found it worthwhile? I did get one a couple of years ago. My personal experience is you can do manually do cables on it, that you can completely do lace, there's shaping and all that, but a lot of that's physically taking the hooks off. More advanced machines, you can have them programmed, so using 2 strands, you can do a whole bunch of colour work and beautiful things.
And ribbing.
Yeah, you got a ribbing
I don't know
attachment.
if I ever told you in a previous life, well, I was a lot younger, so I could stay home with my kids, I had a knitting machine.
Did you? I'm going to hand this one over to her, so go on.
And I used to, we're talking an awful many years ago, but I used to knit for a design house called Jody Knits.
Did you?
So all these fancy, and there was a lot of mohair, believe it or not, in a knitting machine. Now, thicker mohair than we have here, but that's 30 years ago. So I'm sure technology has moved on a lot, and certainly I did a lot of machine knitting in those days, and I knit school jumpers and all kinds of things. So yeah. So just investigate. I know I started off with one that could only do stockinette, and if you had to do this kind of funny double rib thing, and then I moved on to one that would do rib. So yeah, do your research, but and quick, they are quick, but I'm sure actually that nowadays you can actually get them motorized, but I used to be, I'm sure I often must ask my kids if they remember, because they go to bed and I'd be going,
It's white noise after a while, I'm sure. The one I have is underneath my bed, and I haven't done much with it. Like, I thought we'd use it a little bit more for doing swatches and stuff around here. But then my kids came along and I didn't have space to put it out, because you do need a fair bit of space.
Yes.
Is another thing to factor in.
Quite a lot of dust. You'd be surprised. I used to always have red rimmed eyes from the dust.
Oh my good health and safety! How are you?
There was a lot of mohair that I did.
Well, to be fair,
as well.
Yeah. So. There is a question about your jumper.
This is my White Mountains. In fact, I've wound wool to make another one because I love this so much, and I did it in the soft Donegal marl, which I just think gives it a lovely structure. And it's just so cozy.
It is. It is. Oh, hang on. I've got one more.
White Mountains by Midori Hirose.
No. Okay. Next question is from Knit With Me UK. Hello, you were on earlier on. You were celebrating that you can come, and you were wondering what yarn should you swish before you leave. So I'm trying to think about different things that maybe you wouldn't be able to or don't have access to over in the UK. So number one is Townhouse Yarns Westbury worsted. Beautiful, glossy, silky, merino and silk singles in a worsted weight for divine things. There was a lady in wearing a balaclava.
Oh, yes. That
made
with this, and was really
divine,
lovely,
really divine.
Lovely, yeah.
Another one might be the creme castle plain cashmere. You'll have to have a feel of the swatch that's here, because after it's all washed and floofs up.
And one of our lovely customers, Mary, she made these unbelievably soft fingerless mitts. Mary, they were stunning. In fact, Maureen made her take them off so we could all feel them. But it was this held with Manastrale, and Maureen might have indulged today to make herself a pair.
Okay,
but
this is what happens.
Unbelievable.
Very
really,
good.
Really soft.
Very, very good. And then I just picked up a random colour in Irish Artisan Yarns, which is our exclusive base from Tara, the DK Tweed, a superwash merino and Donegal nap. And this one's called Cairn Wood. Maureen's confessing there in the comments that she did do that. So that also is something that you might not be able to get over in the UK. And that's just 3 quick examples, but we will have loads of nice things for you to squish, I promise.
Jenny, is this the purple one you meant?
I think so.
It's Westbury worsted, and the colour is Oasis.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Our lights are very bright today, aren't they? Cool. What is the name of the shawl? Caroline, it's Striped
Esjan.
Esjan. E-S-J-A-N. Striped E-S-J-A-N. So that one's done. I don't know, we're doing okay, but there's still lots to go through. Stay with us, people. Stay with us. So, look, now they're answering in the comments. Thank you so much. Lovely stuff. So, next up, Chimera is how you say that. Will we be getting more in stock, and what's the time frame? Yes, we should be getting more, but I would imagine that it's going to be post the renovations. So we'll be into February for that. Please let us know which colour specifically you're after, or colour or colours, and we will make sure we can get that in the quantity that you need. So no problem. Sorry, that was from Maria McNair. Hi Maria, lovely to hear from you, and thank you for your question. I'm sorry, that sounds a bit automated because I'm trying to do this at the same time. I need to make sure we've got them all. Okay, we had another question about woolen. We did say this last week. Unfortunately, it's not coming back this year. It's not a never again. It's not right now. We've a lot going on in the shop, and we'd like to kind of, if we're coming back, we're gonna like kind of grow things a little bit more slowly back into events. Not this year, I don't. Well, maybe, bear with me. Let me get through the renovations first, okay? Now, for follow along, so this is Merkirkengale, I think that's right. And you just had a little comment. You're just saying that you just signed up for the follow along for the Knit Your First Sweater follow along, and wish you luck. Very best.
Of course we do, but you're not going to need it.
No, we'd be grand. We've got you back. We got you back. That's no bother. I hope you're enjoying it so far. We got lots of nice feedback from it so far, and really lovely people sending us messages and stuff. And yes, it's comments saying good to pace yourselves, don't take on too much at once, for sure. Ooh, what new trends? This is from Flash. Ooh, tricky. And what new trends in yarn would you predict happening for 2023? I think this could go out into the world as well in comments. Yeah. What are you seeing as the trends? Socks is certainly a trend for sure. Back with a bang. Loads of Sockorama. I've been showing off some of my samples today.
She's been busy
for the follow along. The follow along that's becoming a monster along. So that's our next one. Hoping to have that out to you in a couple of weeks' time. Where our the whole video course of how to do toe up socks. But it's videos, again, it's like downloadables, it's calculators, and it's for various whatever yarn you want to use, whatever tension you want to work at. We had this follow along, and your toe up socks, toe up is what we're doing, and we'll have that for you. Other trends. Other trends. No, blank. So let's see what people are saying. Socks are the go-to projects for work meetings. That's a really good one, yeah. So I think that sort of portability, then that might be part of it, is that because we're all getting out a little bit more, that those, you know, commuter projects or, you know, just portable projects and stuff are a really good thing.
I always like to have a portable as well as a more complicated one that I can talk to people while I'm knitting.
On the go. And definitely cables as well, you know, so there's definitely a lot more kind of complex. There was that gorgeous sweater last week with the cables going different directions. There's always ways, but a little bit more of the drop shoulder sweaters too. So these are more trends and patterns really rather than yarn, but because yarn is evergreen as far as I'm concerned. Socks for car knitting, definitely, so you're with us on the socks front. That's good. Alrighty. Oh my goodness,
where are we?
And this was just a lovely little chatty one from Tara7816. You were just saying just suggestions. What you're looking for is suggestions for patterns and yarn matches. So it's what we're coming to you with every single week, and with the new segment as well, with our Show Me the Yarn.
There you go.
Show Me the Yarn segment. So and what has Joy been knitting lately? What has Joy been knitting lately? So yeah, we always will have fresh suggestions for you. I know it's tricky to get up to Dublin to us, but just keep staying tuned here and make sure again you're signed up to the newsletter, and we'll get you lots of inspiration there. I am flying through this. This is, well, I feel like I'm flying through this. I'm sorry, it's just so busy. Okay. Let's do some yarn. So this is from Largy, and you're looking for us to help you find the right wool for this gorgeous pattern. Let's have a look at some inspiration. Speaking of inspiration, let's get it from some other people. Okay, so this is this sheep camp sweater by Jennifer Berg, and our color combinations, it's not quite that one, is it? Oh, it is, yeah. Yes. I'm sorry. We'll refine this method. So, yeah. Well, that'll work for sure.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Is this not it?
Wasn't there a 3-color one? Yeah, there was. Hold on, I'll find the 3-color one. And then...
That is 3 colours.
The sheep camp? Sorry guys, bear with us. No, there was one. There was the I'll find that one and then we'll go with that. Pousse Cafe was that one. Right. So we have picked up our basket for this one instead. We'll come back to that. Okay, so this is the Pousse Cafe vest by Thea Coleman. And we wanted to show you some color combinations and options in yarn for that. And what we picked up was the Amano Warmy, which is a beautiful blend of alpaca and merino wool. I'll always forget the percentages. 70% alpaca and 30% merino wool. So there's a band of a main color around the bottom, a little detail, or band around the bottom for the rib, a detail, and then a main color. And we really liked this for the band. I think this for the detail, and this for the main color as one option. So that was shade 6005, 6001, so obviously shade 5, shade 1, and shade oh god, 19. Okay, it's there, I promise. So that combination for this gorgeous vest top would be fantabuloso. Is it this one? I'm not too sure. Or we like this combination as well, so I'll give you those colors. So again, it's Amano Warmy, and it is color 14, color 9. I'll set you up with something else and I'll find it. And then color 13. Oh my goodness. It was all going so reasonably well. Reasonably well before then. Okay. So that's called Pousse, P-O-U-S-S-E, Pousse Cafe by Thea Coleman.
It's really popular.
It's lovely. You've had a few questions about it as well. Yeah. And that was a question from Patricia Kiera, 68. Hello. What ply is it? This is iron weight. So it would be using 5 and 5.5 millimeter needles. Yeah. So we thought that would work really well. Now, Move card 2 done. Promise this is so smooth. Really, so smooth. I have to figure out a better way next week. there'll be a process of elimination here.
Yeah.
Oh, this was the smock sweater.
Ah, okay.
Now, so smock sweater, the beautiful smock sweater by Camarose is usually held with 3 strands of lace weight together to bring up to an Aran weight. Okay, to show you the design that we are talking about, it is this one right here. Trying to get the light off it. There you are. But we had the question came in from B. Farrell Macaulay, and you were just wondering about alternatives. So this was our alternative basket, and then I'll look for it.
Okay. Even though there was one project on Ravelry that used snuff nug. Now, I'm not sure how drapey that would be in terms of the smocking, but it definitely somebody was doing it, and that way you wouldn't need to use 3 strands. So snuff nug would be a good one. This is colour Pudder 7386, which is really nice. We also thought that this could work. Again, it's the Warmy, just so soft. I can't wait. Actually, Jackie finished a cardigan in this. We're dying to see it in person. It looks fabulous. But this is Warmy, and it is colour 6012, and it's just so soft. It's really gorgeous. And again, it's the Silky Kid, but you would need to use the 3 strands held together. So, okay. Now we found the missing yarn. It was hiding.
There's so much yarn out today.
So we'll get her to bring over the pattern again of that lovely I really like that. I don't need any more inspiration though.
Okay, we are on track. We're back. So fabulous. So there we go. This is the design. It is a double knit sweater. So options.
Okay. So we thought fleece would be lovely. So this is the West Yorkshire Spinners fleece, and this is colour, it's light brown 002, and just look at this beautiful colour. It's Bramble 1035, and I just think that would really be gorgeous, really show up the gorgeous yoke. You know, it's a long yoke. Also, Townhouse Yarns Drury. So this is Mist, and again it's the purple velvet, and again it would just be really, really gorgeous together. Also, this again is Townhouse, but it's Melt, which again would go really well with the velvet. The Kremke Baby.
Baby soft wash.
So we gave a couple of different options. So this, the pale colour, which is colour 19, would be really nice with 04 or colour 12. Actually, I really like that. It's kind of like coffee or something. It's really gorgeous. So there's some different options, but it's a really nice sweater.
Now.
Sorry, there was one last one I missed. So again, it's still the brown, the light brown 002, but look at this gorgeous colour. It's, let's see, it's berry. But I really like those two together as well.
That would be a very nice sweater. Very nice sweater.
Yeah.
Okay. We are back on track. I promise, it's all working out fine. Claudia.
Beautifully.
Claudia was here. She had a quick question. Claudia was asking if Townhouse Yarns Fade Street 4-ply would work for hats, or is it too drapey? And with a cap, well, yes, it could work as long as you want a drapey hat. So in some styles are very slouchy, or like beret style as well, so we go with that. Or what you could do is hold Fade Street 4-ply together with an Abbey, and then you get something like this, which is the Lenny hat or a similar project. But the Abbey just gives it that bit more structure, and it behaves. The fabric behaves that. Takes some of the drape out of it, because of the squishy. So that is Lenny, Leni, by Isabel Kramer, and it's 2 strands of yarn held together. Fade Street 4-ply and Abbey lace from Townhouse Yarns. So now, thanks Claudia for your question. We are on to, let's do some pattern suggestions.
Okay.
There's a wee bit more yarn. We will come back just mixing it up. So I'm gonna go with this. Oh yeah. So Epidote 6, how are you? You were saying, could we go over the techniques or the skill level needed for knitting either a love note sweater or a home cardigan? Okay, because you want to buy something special for yourself with the voucher and you're unsure which one to go with. For reference, you've just knit one adult cardigan previously, an Aran cardigan knit flat in pieces and sewn together using a vintage pattern. So come here.
That's got
don't talk yourself down. Okay,
yeah.
You've done sewing, you've done cables, you've done all that. So, I would say that's probably down to personal preference with that context.
It is really.
You know?
It is really. I mean, the love note is probably easier for a beginner than the home cardigan, because the home cardigan, while it's not hard, but you have a lot of stitches to pick up for the button band.
Yeah.
So that could be daunting for
potentially. There is an element of with the Italian bind off, but that's optional as well.
Optional.
So
Jackie didn't do it.
Yeah. So. Some of these things you can kind of choose the level that you go to.
Yeah.
And then the thing about the love note sweater, okay, there's a bit of lace, but it's a very simple lace repeat, or it's a very straightforward. Once you get into it, practice it on a wee swatch separately.
Yeah.
And then you do have to provisional cast
on.
Yeah.
So there's certainly a lot of learning.
Yeah.
And none of it is particularly difficult.
Don't shy away from it.
Don't shy away.
Yeah.
Either. It just depends, really.
Absolutely. I would go, and I say this to people when they're not sure, they want to learn something new. It's just like, you want the finished item enough, you will muddle through. You will learn. You will get it done. Do that thing of having spare yarn and needles and try out any tricky techniques on that separate thing, and don't get stressed in your project. And you'll get there. So both of those projects do have, something a little bit different that you're not going to come across before. But that's fun. Good to learn new things. Good to learn new things. For sure. So I hope that was some way helpful. It was a little bit of sort of, whatever you want to do yourself, but there's context there anyway. And so but they're both fantastically wearable. They're in terms of projects, they're way up there in the ones that all of us have made and all of us continually wear all the time.
All the time.
So the time and the effort and everything, definitely 100% worth it. Yeah. Okay, and Warrington Maggie, hiya. Oh, she's there. Okay, great. I thought the love note looked trickier. You want both, but start with one. That's great. You will get both. It'll happen. Delighted. Great. So Warrington Maggie was saying, can we recommend a pattern and soft yarn? We might need the soft yarn part actually still, for a sweater like there is everywhere on the fashion pages at the moment. Longish boxy split hem with at the sides with a funnel neck and dropped shoulder. So you know the ones. Our darling researcher Aisling has come up with two fabulous ones. Amy Sure designed the colouring book Raglan, which we based the whole My First Sweater follow along around. They write an excellent pattern, an excellent pattern, and this is the latest release from Amy. It's called the Building Blocks Drop. Okay, Building Blocks Drop by Amy Sure. Definitely check that one out. I like the little pocket. The little pocket is on there as well. So sweet. Sorry, but a little hard to see. And then there is this gorgeous piece it's called The Maker's Tunic by Jennifer L. Parocini, I think. The Maker's Tunic, I'll zoom in a bit there for you. That is another option. So it doesn't have the funnel neck actually either of those.
I think the designer of the home cardigan, Cardry,
she does.
She has one with the funnel neck and then the drops. I'm nearly sure it's drop sleeve as well.
Possibly. It might not be drop sleeve.
Might not be drop sleeve. But if you check her out, she has some very cozy kind of
that's
things.
Sort of the lovely oversized drapey, and they were two that we've come up with. I think I can find. I predict that we will be asked for more of similar styles, and that we will find a few more lovely ones, or there's ones that are going to be released fairly shortly as well. Because as you say, once they're in the fashion pages, creative, inventive designers that are out there, such as they are, there'll be more options coming soon on that as well. So now, what have we got next? You're just going to have to chat while I do this.
Losing your voice, are you?
A little bit. Okay. Beginner brioche. So Ethna Gallagher, hi. you were just looking for a suggestion for a beginner brioche pattern and something small. You can chat about your tips. That's what Aisling said.
I'll chat about my tips.
Chat about your tips.
Oh, to do with, yeah. Well, I know when I started brioche, I used to use Lifeline.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
oh,
Lifeline.
Yes.
Lifeline is where you thread. Usually, if you use interchangeables, there's a little hole at the end of the needle that you can put a bit of dental. I always use dental floss. Because the thing about brioche is it's not difficult. In fact, I really love it because it's very rhythmical. But if you drop a stitch or you make a mistake, it's not very easy to fix, and it's like, oh my god, what am I going to do? So that's what I used to do. I don't do it anymore, but run a Lifeline just every so many rows, just for your own sake, so that if you do have to rip back, your stitches are all held properly where they are with the proper yarn overs. For the beginning, I would pick something like that, which just goes straight or has very simple decreases or increases. If you want to get a little bit more adventurous, the Medusa, which I just showed you,
Now the request here was for very simple, but yes, we will show.
This is not very simple, but it's a step forward from the straight, just straight up brioche, where there's an increase. You just do an increase and then you decrease as you go along, but definitely just to start, to do just straightforward, or pick something like, I think, we do some shawls like Andrea Mari or Sosu, they have shawls where there's just a little bit of brioche.
Yes.
Like one section, and it's a great way of just giving yourself a taste without doing a whole project and being overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But Lifelines are definitely a really good idea.
Ramble by Andrea Mari is
That's
a
a lovely
DK
one
weight.
too.
Lovely. It just starts with stripes and garter stitching, and there's a few, like, I don't know, about 35 rows of brioche at the end. And that was my first brioche that I did with any shaping at all. So I would recommend that from personal experience. So that's the beginner. It's called literally the Beginner's Brioche Cowl by Lavagna Patricella. If I've just seen a few people asking about names that they've missed as we go. I know we're going reasonably fast and we talk, like, there's a lot of suggestions coming. If you're watching back and you've missed something that we've said, scroll to the part where we talked about it, take a wee screenshot on your phone and direct message us, and we'll let you know. One of us will get back to you and tell you what pattern it is. You might even get a cheeky link as well. Why not? To save you looking. So that is one of those. And here we go. We are getting there, my friends. This is from Liz Sully, and Liz was asking, she says that she has 350 grams of pure Aran wool, and it's not soft at all. This can happen. So you don't want to make a cowl or mittens or anything that's going to be next to your skin. And have we any ideas? We do. I would say try and, okay, there's a couple of angles, right? One is something like this, which is felted buckets or homewares that you could make with it. These are very, very sweet. So that is called Wool Vessel, and it's patterned by Nick Davis. Or another option is to make a vest. That's something to go over a shirt, a t-shirt, a long sleeve top, so it's not going to be next to your skin at all. And with 350 grams, depending on the size that you're making, you may or may not have enough for that, but it gives you an idea.
If you added a fluff, that softens up.
Yes.
A rustic yarn really does just add,
Hold
a strand of Manastrale, like
alpaca,
or Avilace or Silky Kid. It really does soften it up.
Yes. Now, and this is a soft tweedy yarn, and it's Studio Donegal, soft Donegal, but my son is quite sensitive, okay? And I made this for him, and so he was just like, yeah, but... what I did was I got a softer yarn, Malabrigo Rios in this case, and made a little turn back, little trim for it. So carried on knitting for a while and then tucked it down inside. So the part that's next to his skin at the cuffs, at the neckline. That is an option as well if you want to make something.
Yeah.
You can line it essentially, or just line the parts that would be in contact with your skin. And that's relevant to another question, which I hope we'll have time. Oh my God, it's 10 to 7. So hopefully we'll have time to do a quick demo on as well. So fingers crossed that helps. It's, I mean, gorgeous 100% wool. It's definitely worth using. But you just might need to be a little bit creative, as I say, in the pattern that you choose. Now, I'm leaving the demos to the end. Bear with me. Dublin Unicorn. The Dublin Unicorn. You're looking for rainbow yarn for a triangle scarf. Now, rainbow can mean rainbow stripes, or rainbow can just be mixed colors. So we're going to show you a little bit of a few options, basically. And in terms of striped yarns, like, I just love that your name is Unicorn, Dublin Unicorn, so I'm thinking unicorns. This is Colour Lab DK, so that'll come up in stripes. The thing that struck me from your question, though, is that it's a triangle scarf.
Yeah.
So as you work through this, you're starting thinner and going wider, your stripes are going to be all different depths. Okay, because it's the same repeat all the way through. There's a couple of other colours in that range, but just to bear in mind that that would have an impact. You want to show those options?
Yes. Oh, and we got a delivery today of Ushishita.
Ushishita.
Properly. And the colours in this, it's just amazing. But just to show you, it's not rainbow exactly, but it would come up really beautiful, all the mixed colours. This one is called Bouquet.
It's like an oil spill puddle.
Yeah, it's just really gorgeous. And then this one is Buy Me Flowers. How lovely is that? Oh, I think that would really come up really, really nicely. And then we have these. Neon, talk about rainbow.
I'm telling you.
So this is the baby alpaca, the mini set. So again, you could just make something really gorgeous out of that. So
now,
all right,
would you mind grabbing the interchangeable needle sets?
Yep.
Well, sorry. Okay, and we balaclavas. These seem to be things, and I can understand because it's so freezing cold in Ireland at the moment. So this is from Laurgie, and you were looking for options for balaclava designs. So we've Tromso, this one just here, which would be Snefnog. That's what that's about. Camarose Snefnog with a fluff held together. So that is Askgra or 7310 in Snefnog. And it's the same, but it's same colour name, but it's 9502 in Camarose Midnight Sol. So that balaclava pattern that I showed you would be fantastic in that. And then there was another one, which is the November balaclava by Petite Knits. Is that our first mention of Petite Knits today?
It is.
It might be. Woohoo! And then our options for that, it's an Aran weight with a fluff as well, as is the tendency. Fluff.
We love our fluff.
What about Rico Soft Merino Aran held together with Kremke Silky Kid? That's just one of the colour options, but there's loads and loads and loads across the range. So that's November balaclava by Petite Knits. Boom. Thank you. Now, so we also had a question about short needle sets for doing sleeves and just small circumference knitting. Okay, this little pretty right here from Knit Pro is their indigo denim short needle set. We did show it.
Flying out the door.
Flying. The first one was called Tromso. Sorry, we were asking about the balaclava patterns. Sorry, it's called, or Tromso, Tromso, Tromso hoodie by Slow Knitwear is that one there. So Liz Dolan, you were wondering about what your options are for making sleeves but on short circular needles. So this is the kits. We have a handful left of them. There are more coming, but they may or may not get to us before the renovations. Okay, so as we said, the website would be closing and everything, but we'll get everything back up afterwards. So you've got these dinky, tiny little beautiful needles and all the cables that you need for your short circular knitting, and they go from, I think it's going to be 3mm, isn't it? Yes, 3mm up to 6mm in that wee set. And then we have the Chowgu shorty sets, but they do come across two different needle sizes, or two the ranges that you're looking for, which is 3mm to 5mm. I think this one goes up to 3.25, and then the next one jumps up. So
Yep,
yeah,
3.5
to 5. So we're missing the 3.25 out of this, but it's the Chowgu shorty set. So you've got the wood option in Knit Pro, and you've got the metal or the steel option in Chowgu. So you've got 8 sizes from 3.5 up to 5mm in there as well. It's really down to personal preference, what you like about like the style of cables, and whether you want the feel of metal or wood in your hand. You like the pointiness of Chowgu's. That's kind of be in those situations. I think if people are wanting to invest in a set, we encourage them to try one first.
Oh yeah.
You know, one of the sizes that are outside.
Not everybody likes the tiny little ones. But
yeah, so give them a go. Pick one that's outside of what you'd get in that set. So maybe buy the 3.25 separately and then go from there. So for socks too, yes, you can absolutely make short, small circumference things with these beautiful sets. And Chowgu make a whole different variety of them.
There's so many.
We had to move where the Chowgu needles were so that we could see all of the labels and make sure we got the right things. There are loads of options. They've got swivel cables, non-swivel cables. Again, if you're not sure and you're tell us a little bit more about yourself, your knitting style, and we can make recommendations based on that and the types of projects that you want to make as well. Delphinia says, I have no need for those short needle sets, but they're so cute. They are dinky. You just want to put one in your pocket, carry it around. But for sleeves, they're a game changer, total game changer, you know. But try the short needling, because it depends on how you knit. Like, some people find it's a little bit too crowded depending on how you hold your yarn and needles. So all right, we're gonna run over. That's all right though. I will know for next week to do a cut off earlier. I know, I love this. You guys, you ask the best questions, and it's always brilliant, and we try and pack as much advice and information into these as we can. So Alessia Knits Green. Okay, Alessia Knits wants to make a project for a 6-year-old, and you're looking for emerald green yarn and pattern ideas for a 6-year-old. So our pattern ideas: classic Antler Cardigan by Tin Can Knits is number 1, and that's the Aran weight. If you want to show those.
Yeah, the Aran weight. So you said emerald, so this really is emerald. It's the soft Donegal, and it's colour 5536, which has lovely kind of shading in it. Not quite so emerald, but it's dune grass in origin, and that's by Walcott Yarns. So dune grass. Let's see, that's the Aran weight. The DK then?
The DK is, we've got
the DK. Then we thought the West Yorkshire Spinners. Again, they don't really have an emerald exactly. So
Norwegian fur, so beautiful.
It's really gorgeous. So this is fleece again, and this is fell side, and this one is forest, and then bebe, which again, it isn't exactly emerald, but it's green. So this is colour 13, which we've used in the festival sweater and the Christmas cowl. And then the Rico Essentials DK, again getting closer to the emerald again, but I suppose more Kelly green. So that's colour 42. So that would be really, I know Maureen has made a couple of Norwegian furs in the Rico DK, and it's really gorgeous, really turned out nicely. So there we go.
Beautiful options.
Green, we're getting ready for Patrick's Day.
So this is less of an answer and more of a shout out to Claire Condell. So thank you for asking this question about short rows. You were wondering about getting some advice on how to add short rows into the bust sweaters, just to account for larger bust sizes. There have been whole books written on this topic, so it's definitely not something that we can unfortunately cover during the course of this. But what we have done for you is we've dug out 2 links to tutorials around the internets that cover this specific topic, and that they are going to be something that a little bit of maths is required, a little bit of measuring and stuff done by yourself there at home. But what we will do is we will follow up with you, because of you submitted this question, we have your details, and we're going to send you out those links so that you can have a look. And I really hope that's helpful. well. Apologies that I can't condense that in,
I
but
took a whole
it's just
class
a huge.
on it once.
It is a
With
huge
Isolde.
topic.
Remember Isolde
Yeah,
came over?
yeah. There was a great book that was brought out all about that. Little Red in the City.
Little Red in the City.
Little Red in the
That's
City.
exactly
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. Yeah, there's a huge amount. But once you learn it and you learn it, you know, and you implement it in 1 or 2 sweaters, you'll be able to. It'll become a little bit second nature as to how you're going to implement it into future projects as well. And it's well worth doing because, you know, there's that thing about getting the exact right fit. And is it Jacqueline Ciaslak as well? Is someone to follow because her patterns account for it. Like she designs with bust starts or bust short rows in there as well. So if you don't want to have to do that maths yourself, I mean, there's a good amount of patterns out there that you can where the designer has done it for you. So or will have excellent advice on that. So I'm sorry that we couldn't pop that or cover that in any greater depth, but it is a great question, and I want other people out there to know that if they do find that their sweater is kind of right up at the front because of being, you know, more well endowed than I am, then you know, there are options out there for basic custom fitting your sweaters as well. So and I think I'm wondering, does Carol Feller do an online course as well about it? There was definitely, she's a masterclass on sweater fitting.
Surprised.
Yeah, she does some great stuff. So check out Carol Feller Stolen Stitches as well. So there's
some really good tutorials,
excellent online courses as well. So now demos at 7:01. I hope so. I'm just going to we're going to fly through these because there's 3 particular questions that I need to turn the camera around on, but there will unfortunately be quick and dirty demos. Okay, numero uno. Okay, bear with me. Let me turn you around. Woolly Badger. I think that's a recommendation for someone who designs with short row busts, short row shaping for busts as well. So thank you for that. Alrighty. Now this is where we go like this, and this question came from Salbug, where you were wondering about the right way to cast off for a twisted rib. Now, one thing I would suggest is using a larger needle size in your right hand. A larger needle size in your right hand, okay, because that'll mean that your cast off is naturally going to be a little bit looser and a little bit stretchier, okay? I'm not doing that in this case because we have a quick and dirty swatch. But the main thing would be to continue your ribbing on the cast off row, okay? So this is a regular knit 1, purl 1, and you can see that I knit 1 stitch and cast off, and then purl 1 stitch and cast off. Okay, so again with a larger needle size or in your right hand, so that'll naturally stretch out your cast off. Okay, so that if you were doing twisted rib, you would maintain the twist. You would knit into the back and then cast off through the, sorry, fiddly to do this through the camera as always, and then purl. Keep the yarn in front until you've lifted up the back stitch over the front stitch, and then through the back leg like that. Okay, now, so that is our quick and dirty suggestion for that. Joy, could I ask you to continue to the last one on there, and then I will do, because we need to show the last stitch.
Okay.
Joining off.
Keep casting off.
Please.
Yep.
And for my dear friend here, Anne Tiernan. Anne, I didn't want to forget about you. Again, a very quick and dirty demo bow. You were wondering about fold over necks, which is what I was showing here in my little Ushies jumper, and how to connect up to the same row of stitches and keep everything lined up as you do that cast off. This is just a simple swatch. I've put some pretend stitches onto this needle here, and to represent the stitches that are live, and then you'd be folding over and attaching to a particular row on the inside of your fold over neck, okay? And this is where these little Flox tools that I showed at the start, I think would become in really handy, because what you can do is actually go in, find the row that you're connecting to, and then pick up and pop a few stitches at a time onto that tool, and it'll be easier to keep on the same row. And you could do like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you have your yarn here and you can do your cast off, because I presume that's the way that you're doing it. So is that you're casting off to join stitches on the outside to stitches on the inside to give you a fold over neck. This could be done with a spare circular needle if you wanted to pick up them all ahead of time, or you could just run a contrast piece of yarn through ahead to give you that guidance as to where to pick up which stitch.
If it's rib as well, that's another way.
Oh yeah, Joy was saying if it's if you're joining a rib to a rib, then it's a little bit easier because you can obviously line up your knits and your pearls and your knits to do that. But that would be my kind of nifty little tip. This is called a Flox tool, and it will serve as a cable needle. It'll serve as a stitch marker. It'll serve as a aid for fixing drop stitches, all of these things. And they just got popped up onto the website today, but they do this lovely, because you can twist and hold your stitches like this. You can leave it straight out as a cable needle, or if you're worried about the stitches coming off your cable, you can dip it down like that. And I'd say there's 20 million other uses for them for sure. But Flox is that, and we've got 10 different designs there. So I hope that helps. The last question at 6 minutes past 7 was knitting or tidying up the last stitch of a cast off when casting off in the round. And what we would do, because you're worried about it looking a little bit loose, and it does, but when you cut this yarn, thread it through that stitch, it's all going to be about sewing it down and making it meet here when you're going to darn in or weave in this end here. Okay, so you just make some pull it nice and tight and bring it down, and then weave in and out behind here, and that'll tidy it up nicely. And if it doesn't, then I need to see a little photograph, because there might be something else at play. So that is it. I am so sorry that it had to be a little bit too quick at the end, but we will judge our questions a little bit more carefully next week. Thank you as always for joining us. I have lost my voice. My darling assistant is already tidying up. And as I said, we'll be back next week, but please do remember the 30th of January is when we just hot-footed out into another shop down here with all of our stuff, and count everything, and then basically let them do their job in here.
Can't wait.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. If there's anything, as I said, just drop us a question, leave us a comment. If you click the link in our profile, it'll bring you to one of the options there will be to click into the Instagram Live, and the products that have been featured today are in there, so you don't need to go digging too far through the website. It's always a pleasure, and thank you for bearing with the technology.
I'm not being able to find some of the stuff.
I know, what do we like? We'll label them next year. Next year?
Next year?
Yeah, it's time for me to go home.
I think it's time.
Okay, bye-bye, good night. Bye-bye.
Stay warm.
I do.